Yeah, so by qualification, I am an engineer from 2014 batch from VIT Vellore. Okay, after that, I worked for a while in Bangalore, and then I started my preparation for civil services, and this was my second attempt. In my first attempt, I could reach up to the interview, but couldn't clear, so I learned from my mistakes, and in the next attempt, I got a rank of 83. So I have been asked to come here to speak to you. You are freshers batch, right? The batch has been started in March. January. So you are into 4th or 5th month of your preparation. So that's good. So I'll be sharing my strategy and the strategy that if you feel like you can involve in your own strategy. Sure, this lecture would be dealing comprehensively about this exam, how you should go about it at different stages, how you should incorporate your classes and your time management, everything. I've tried to make it as comprehensive as I can. But in between, while I finish a topic or a part, if you have any doubts, you can ask me there and then, so that we cover up everything nicely. So beginning with this preparation, as I said, the key pointers would be, why are you preparing this exam? This is a beginner's batch. So the first question is, why are you preparing for this exam? Second thing is, are you aware of the syllabus, the pattern, and the previous year's questions? Then there are many myths associated with this exam amongst beginners, so I'll bust them too. Then choosing the option. How many have you chosen the optional now? Okay, few of them. So I'll talk about what all to keep in mind while choosing the optional. Then how to begin the preparation. Already you are in 4 months, but still you are in the beginning phase of this preparation. Newspaper, a very important part, how to go about it, how to integrate it in your preparation. Role of current affairs, very important, but how to integrate current affairs, newspapers and your statistics studies. Then prelims, mains, GS1 to GS4, essay, and then answer writing. Okay, so this will be our whole framework of today's talk. Now coming to why this preparation. While I started my preparation in 2015, I came across this question. I used to ask my friends, my batchmates, people who are preparing. So I used to get a very different response, mixed responses, different. So I have noted down something. So if it is, some parents would have forced you into this. We want our kid to become an IAS officer. Just go. We have enrolled you into the coaching. Go. Second, some people have not got a good job in college, so they're like, why not try this? It's a very good exam. Let's sit. If 1 or 2 attempts, we'll try. If it happens, well and good. Else, we'll do something else. I would say that stay away from all these points. Okay. Please make this exam as your own goal. Okay. Unless and until you take this as your own goal, that I want to clear this exam, I want to become an IAS officer, this won't help. Okay. So the final goal while you are preparing each and every day should be, I have to clear this exam. This is my exam. I have to clear it, no matter what my parents are saying, what my friends are saying, or what the other people from my college are doing. It is absolutely your own preparation. Fine. So coming to syllabus, how many of you have read the syllabus? Okay, few more than who have chosen their optional. So please, this is the first thing, that please be aware of the syllabus. Okay, unless and until you know the syllabus, how would you go about the preparation? You're already into 4 months of your preparation. Each and every word of the syllabus should be on your tips. Then only you can see that what are the relevant topics that you have to study. Unless and until you know the syllabus, how will you see that from the newspaper, what is important, what is not important? Third thing is that sometimes there are direct questions from the syllabus, especially from the GS4 examination. A lot of keywords are given in the syllabus. Direct question is asked, what do you mean by this? In 2016 GS2 exam, there was a direct question, what are quasi-judicial bodies? And quasi-judicial bodies is a direct word written in the syllabus. So if you are aware of the syllabus, you will definitely make an effort to see what are the topics, and you will know at least something about it. Right? Now pattern and the previous year's question papers, they are very important, because no matter how much you study, what books you can study thousands of books, you can join thousands of coaching centers, but unless and until they are reproduced and you get an outcome from them, it doesn't make any sense, right? Our final aim is to solve the questions in prelims and write the answers in mains, right? If you are only studying and not reproducing it, it will not serve our purpose. Now, pattern and previous year question gives the idea what the UPSC wants from us. Like, you will get to know the demand of the exam. You can see if you solve past year question papers, you will see a drastic shift from 2011 onwards. Like 2010 there is a different pattern, and 2011 the pattern got changed, the CSAT came and more analytical questions came. So you will find a shift. So if you are able to find out the difference between what kind of questions were asked before 2010 and what questions are being asked after 2011, your preparation will directly be on the right track. You will know that, okay, I have to study this topics in this manner. So their previous year questions and pattern helps. Please do observe it when you go home. Okay, now coming to the myths. That coaching institute is a one-stop solution. Some people feel that I have joined such and such coaching and now they'll do everything and I will not do anything and I'll clear this examination. This is not the case. Now some people feel that only intelligent people can clear this exam, that you have been a topper throughout your school and college life, then only you can clear this examination. This is not the case. This is not the test of your intelligence. Of course, some part IQ is there, but it is more a test of your patience, your perseverance and dedication. Okay, because when you fail, people are clearing in the 4th and 5th attempts, and once you fail, then you have to learn from that, keep your spirits high and then start again. So I don't think that that's the role of intelligence. That certainly involves some mental strength and patience. Okay, and when you are into this, then at least see that 2 to 3 years it will take for an average candidate. So don't go with this mindset that only 1 year I'll study and then I'll clear it. That is very good if you can clear it, but if you don't clear it, it's okay. See from your mistakes, revamp your strategy, and then make better efforts next time. So, and another thing is that people say that if you are preparing for IAS that you need to study everything under the sun or you need to know everything under the sun. That is not the case. Okay, so everyone has some human limitations. We cannot study everything. So the fact remains that we have to know something about everything and everything about some things. So I hope you get the difference. Here, what I talked about, knowing the pattern, knowing the previous year questions, understanding the syllabus will help, because when you have to define what is something and what is everything, that will help to prioritize some topics or some subjects over others and how to do a smart study. Now coming to choosing the optional. Okay, so optional is very important because in GS almost everyone scores on average marks or similar marks. Even those who have cleared the mains in GS, they have very high marks. It's usually the optional that decides their selection, optional and the essay paper. So and also in optional there is a specialized study that you have to study till MA level in humanities subjects and BTech level in engineering subjects. So definitely this is not general studies, this is specialized study. Third thing is the interest and the comfort. So some people say they keep on asking which optional is scoring, if rank 1 gets like rank 1, what is rank 1's optional, or what is rank 5's optional, or something like that. That doesn't help. People clear from any and every optional. Okay, so it's your interest and your comfort level that will decide your preparation. Because even if you are in first attempt, suppose you fail, then the next attempt maybe the GS will change based on current affairs, but optional remains same. So you should have a dedication level to at least study it for 1 year, 2 years, and that will remain the same. Okay. Fourth thing while choosing the option is the material and resources. Okay, because when you have to study, then you have to find a good teacher, good subject material, and the resources from which you study. So these all things are there, and there is no particular optional that can guarantee you success. it's your own interest and the material available that will help you in preparing the examination. So I chose political science and international relation. I'll give a brief idea why I chose that. If you feel the same, please take it. If you don't feel the same, please take your own optional. So while I prepared my GS, so I was interested in the constitution part and the international relations part. So definitely I had a inclination towards political science. Secondly, it has a big overlap between GS 1, 2, 3 and even 4. I skipped it. Okay, GS1 history part, it's included in PSIR. GS2 is completely from that optional. GS3 some parts from economy and environment are there in PSIR, like WTO and planning and development, difference between Gandhian economic model and Nehruvian economic model. Helps in essay and ethics, yes. In ethics, you have to study about thinkers, okay, their quotes, what they are, their teachings. So in PSIR, we definitely study in depth. So writing the ethics exam is very easy for us. We don't need to do any specialized study for that. Okay. In essay, definitely if all GS 1 to 4 are helping you, if PSIR is helping you in all the GS papers, then definitely it will help you in essay also. You don't have to remember special quotes and lines from different authors. It will be already in your mind while you are studying for political science. And political science is mostly current affairs based. It's a very dynamic subject. So here you have to be on your toes. Some optionals are very static. So even if you have prepared your notes in 1 year, then next year you just have to revise those notes or practice them, especially the science subjects or some other subjects in humanities. But in PSIR, it's totally current affairs based. You have to follow the newspaper for your both GS and PSIR. So this was my strength because I was strong in current affairs and I was very interested in reading the newspapers and these things. So I thought that it will help me in preparing for political science and international science. I won't have to read too many books. Even current affairs will help me once my base is ready. Now beginning with this preparation, so I would say, like, it was my strategy that there are certain pillars of a preparation. Okay, they are not subjects, they are not books, but there are certain things that you need to keep in your mind. Okay, because what I feel is that many aspirants feel that this is a college level examination, that if you study from the notes you will be able to answer the question, or whatever is given in the books you will be able to answer the question, or whatever the teacher has taught in the class it will directly come in the examination. This is not the case. This is a very different examination. This tests your personality, this tests your life skills. So these are then the do's and don'ts. Then I got a chance to interact informally with a beginners batch last week. Okay, so I had come here and I got a chance to interact. So they had asked few questions to me. Okay, so I have made this PPT based on those inputs. So I think it will help you too. So they had asked me about the timeline, how you should go about it. Like you have started a preparation in January, right? May is going on right now. You will be giving the exam in next year, June. So how should you approach this full year? Time management, a very important thing, because there are so many things to study in very limited amount of time. How can we study those things? And how to make best use of classes. Okay, you have 6 months more left in your classes. Okay, how to make the best use of your classes. So coming to the pillars of preparation, be proactive. What I mean by proactive is that whatever is happening around you, okay, you have to take the initiative. So the first thing I asked, how many of you have read the syllabus? 60-70% only have read the syllabus. So how can you say that you are in your 4th month of preparation and you haven't read the syllabus? So this is lack of proactivity. Before even coming to the class, you should have read the syllabus, what all is required from us. Okay. Or when something comes in the newspaper, some new topic comes, okay, then you should be proactive that I should know about it. You should not wait that let the teacher teach in the class or let the things come. I should take my own initiative and start reading about it. Fine. Similarly, it goes with the previous year question papers as well. Okay, unless and until you know the previous year question papers, then if you study, you are studying polity, but if you know what questions have been asked from past 3-4 years and then you study polity in class, you will grasp it better that yes, this was a question asked in 2012 or 13 and now I'm able to answer this. So by proactivity, I mean this. So my whole preparation, my whole presentation in the next few minutes will be revolving around these things. Second is balance. Okay, balance is required from any officer. Balance of personality, balance of judgment. So your preparation should be balanced. Don't read too much in so much depth that you are doing PhD and leave some things apart. Have a balanced approach towards all the subjects. Prioritize some over others. If polity is more important, read polity more, but don't leave art and culture totally blank, right? So the some kind of balance we need to make in everything that we do, from prelims to mains to our interview. Consistency. Now some people feel that okay, this week I'll study 12 hours to 14 hours a day, and next week I'll study just 3 hours. That won't help, because this is an exam to test your mental patience and your endurance. So you have to be consistent. Decide your own time. Everyone is at a different situation. Some people are working, some people have left their jobs, some people are preparing full time. So whatever time you get, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, that doesn't matter, but it should be consistent. Every day that should be there. One day you can keep free, but that freedom should also be related to the exam. Fine, okay, in the morning you just read the newspaper, think about something, read a bigger topic which you didn't find time. If some topics are pending from last 1 week, you can do them on Sunday. Don't do a focus study, but yes, somewhere or the other, 24 hours, the exam should go on in your mind. Now coming to be practical and analytical, whatever things are going around you, please observe them. Don't just dwell too much into your books. Okay, questions are asked beyond books, so you have to answer beyond books. Okay, so if someone says that you have to finish off this book, so be practical, that see what impact will it create, or why are you reading this book. Before what, you should answer the question why. If someone asks you to read this book, ask yourself a question, why am I reading this book? Okay, am I reading this for fun? Am I reading this to prepare? If I am reading this to prepare, then for what part of the preparation? Is it for prelims? Is it for mains? Okay, so if it's for prelims, then you will be studying in a different way. You will focus more on factual stuff. But if it is for mains, you will be studying more for the analytical part. So unless and until you answer the question why, you won't be able to make use of the resource. Now coming to the most important part is correlation. It is expected in prelims and mains to correlate things. If it is a economy answer, like this I learned from Reddy sir, that if you are writing the answer from GS3, it shouldn't be limited to economy. It should show all the aspects. Like if it is a GST question, you should put something about the constitutional amendments that GST was brought for. Okay, so that gives a very comprehensive idea, that the examiner gets to know that this person knows things in depth. This I applied in this year's mains, and marks are not here, but I'd like to thank Reddy sir for that. Okay, and I have written this A equal to B, B equal to C, A equal to C. It's a very simple statement, but it has a very inherent meaning. See, in class, when you are studying, polity teacher will come, he will teach you polity. You will understand polity very well and good. Next time, history sir will come or ma'am will come, she will teach you history, you will understand it well. But to relate polity with history, it's your own job. Then only you can answer the question. If you are studying about the 1935 Act, then it is an element of polity as well as history. History teacher will teach it with respect to history, polity sir will teach with respect to polity, but to integrate them is your own task. This is not an excuse when you are answering the question, you said that ye to sir ne padhaya nahi tha. Fine, this is your own task. If you are reading in economy and you are talking about energy aspects, then it is your duty to correlate with the environmental aspect. Because when environment teacher will come, he may not go into economy. He just talks about ecosystem and energy, what are the different renewable energy, non-renewable energy, but to relate it with economy, it's your own task. So these all are pillars of your preparation. While you are studying everything, each and everything, you have to make sure that you are following all these points. Now coming, what not to do. This is the most important part. Please don't run upon the new material that is coming in the market. Every day you find every website, every coaching institute giving the same material. And there's no guarantee that, even though they claim that if you read this, you will be able to solve the question, that is not the case. my own suggestion would be that whatever you have written in your own handwriting, your own notes will help you. I have written this weak minds over here. It is because these things are to target the weak minds, because there are only 2 weeks left for the prelims exam. Some teacher or some coaching institute, some website will release a material, last 15-day material to clear this examination. Only the weak minds will run up for that. Okay, if I read it for just last 15 days, I'll be able to clear prelims. It is their marketing strategy. Don't follow that. You have been preparing sincerely for past 1 year. I think that is much better source, and it will be much more helpful than you. Some people claim that study eco for 5 days with us and clear mains examination. Okay, this is not the case. Please don't have a library of books in your room. Okay, even in the toppers videos, you will get to know in background there will be lot many books kept. They are deliberately kept just before shooting the video. Okay, have certain reference books. They are important. Read them in a limited manner. The exam that is required for the exam. Okay, as I said that please answer the question, why are you reading this book? If it is a this much thick book, and I'm sure that everything is given in that book, but still you have to answer the question, why am I reading this book? If only one question is being asked in the mains examination, from that part, is it prudent to read the full book? Fine, so you have to answer this question. Be more proactive, be more balanced. Fine, okay, this is a very interesting thing. There are many websites where people keep on commenting day in, day out. Fine, please stay away from them. Okay, there's a debate going on, because one day you will write something, next day you will feel how many likes have come, whatever I have written, or some people have written ill about you, then you will come back and a debate will start, and you will end up wasting your time, and you think that you have prepared for CSE, Civil Services Examination, or some burning issue has come, some political statement has been made by some leader, and on that website you are thinking that, okay, if I debate for 3 hours here, then I will prepare my content for my GS or my essay. That is not the case. Please focus on your own preparation. Okay, this I have already mentioned. Please no PhD in any subject. It's when they call it general studies, it means general. Okay, again, do not follow any topper coaching website blindly. Please customize it with your suggestion, customize their suggestions based on your preparation. This I also did. Toppers videos have been a very important part in my preparation. I have learned a lot from them, and that is why I am here telling my own experience, so that someone else can also be helped from that. But still, take whatever is good from each and every one. If I am saying something, if you find that, okay, this part is suiting my strategy, just take that part. Take another part from some other topper. Right? Because I have seen people commenting on those websites that, okay, sir, please guide me on all the aspects. This is not expected of an officer, that you are dependent on totally someone, that he only will take you far from this exam, okay, and he'll help you clear this examination. This is not the case. Okay. Now, so this is the mistakes made by sincere students. There are many sincere friends of mine. Last year I reached up to the interview, so I consider my strategy as good, but I couldn't clear the examination. There are some people who are working so hard, still they are not able to clear prelims from last 1 to 2 years. Fine, so we cannot question their hard work, and we cannot question their sincerity. But there are certain things that they need to keep in mind while preparing this examination. Okay, some people have this feeling that we will solve tests once we are fully prepared. And no one can be fully prepared. So I know so many students, no one can say that we are fully prepared for this examination. Okay, so they said, okay, we'll prepare fully and then we'll give the tests. So that is not the case. You have to make tests a part of your own preparation. So while you have studied something, you feel that, okay, standard sources I have completed, I have a fair amount of idea about the subject, give a test. The reality will be in front of you. Okay, whatever the mistakes you have done, revise that again. Sometimes you think that this topic I know very well, I'll be able to solve all the questions, but when you give the test, the same topic you are not able to solve the question. So there you will realize that my preparation strategy was not right. Over ambitious schedule, aaj to sab padh dalunga. This doesn't work. Make schedules based on your situation. If you are working, if you have some family responsibilities, if you have some other work to do, please make schedules according to that. always leave a scope of 2 to 3 days so that course correction can take place. If one subject you have kept for 15 days, so after the 15 day, if you realize that okay, 4 topics still I need to revise, then there is no 16th day, because on the 16th day you will have to start a new subject. So if you feel that I can finish a subject in 10 days, give 15 days in your schedule. So that 5 days are there to revise that topic, to give tests. Maybe you can discuss things with your respective teachers on that. Now overconfidence, some people are very some people have this thing, from my school days I've been reading newspaper, or I'm a debater, or I've been attending MUNs, or all those things, so I know everything. Okay, this is a very bad strategy, because this exam gives a level playing field to all the candidates, even those who are from a very grassroots background, or even though who have a very posh background. This exam provides a very level playing field. So please don't be overconfident. Whatever the sources are required, whatever the necessary things to be done, they have to be done. Excessive reading, as I have told about, people say that okay, I'll read this book full in India After Gandhi. It's a 700-page book, I'll finish it off. It's a very good book, it's a very interesting book, but you have to make sure that will it help in your exam or not. Maybe after you clear the examination you can read it, or before you start the preparation you can read it, because the time is limited. Now some people apply too much of mind. Okay, that is also not required. Balanced, I would say. Again, I'll come back to the same point, balance. Fine. What you need is smart work over hard work. Hard work everyone does. Smart work, if you can do it, you will be able to maximize your output from minimal efforts. Now what to do? Please focus on physical and mental health, because unless and until you are physically and mentally fit, emotionally fit, you won't be able to sustain this preparation. Okay? Have a good diet, exercise daily. Okay? Come out of school level mindset, spoon feeding mindset. Some people say that okay, this is not the case, that वो NCERT के पीछे वाले questions ही पूछे जाएंगे. Okay, that is not the case. Enjoy this process. Unless and until you enjoy reading, unless and until you enjoy studying, okay, you won't understand things. And if you don't understand things, you won't be able to apply or implement things in the examination. Fine. Here you have to prepare topics and not sources. What I mean by this is that some people feel very confident and they become overconfident. मैंने लक्ष्मीकांत भी खत्म कर ली, मैंने बिपिन चंद्रा भी खत्म कर ली, I have finished off Ramesh Singh, I have finished off Norman Low. This is not the case. Are you able to solve questions on a topic? Are you able to write an answer on a topic? That is more important. So we have to prepare topics no matter what the source is. So if you have chosen a topic that I will study Cuban Missile Crisis, then source doesn't matter. Okay, you can study it, you can talk to your friend about it, and if he tells you, explains you everything, that is also well and good. You can talk to a teacher about it, if he or she tells you everything about it, that is also good. You watch a YouTube video, that is also good. But the demand of the examination should be met. It is not necessary to finish off that particular book. Okay. Now coming to the schedules, make a 6 monthly schedule. I'll come to the timeline later. Then have a 3-month schedule. Then in that you should have a weekly schedule, and in that you have a daily schedule. Okay, so that you don't go vague. Before sleeping one day, you should know what you are going to study tomorrow. Right? Before finishing of this week, you should know what you are going to start next week. If this doesn't happen, then your study will go in a very different manner. Okay. And even if you don't, please don't do that. Aaj history pad li, next day polity, next day economy. Please don't do that. Give a specified amount to every subject so that you can study that subject comprehensively. Fine. Please make your class notes as your base of your preparation, because some people, when you start reading a book, okay, you will start making notes from that book. If you read some material, you start making notes from that material, and class notes to hang. So at the end you will have 3 different notes. How will you revise? So if you can't revise something, then you shouldn't prepare those things. So our class notes should be the base of our preparation. Whatever you study in the class, go home, revise. Okay. whatever additional things you get to know, note down in your class notes. So at the end, when the exam approaches, you will just have your class notes to revise. So in 1 or 2 days, you will be able to revise them, and they are in your own handwriting, so it will be very easy to revise. Limited sources, multiple revisions. You must have heard many toppers saying this. Instead of reading 10 sources, read one source 10 times. So any questions up till this point? Are you able to relate to this? This must be happening to all of you. Because my aim here was not to talk about big things, and here my aim is to relate with you, so that if I can clear it, then. So this is the quote which I followed. I hope you understand the quote. Okay, this helped me a lot. Keep on practicing, even if it's writing or solving papers. Now coming to the timeline, this is May 2018 going on, and I think your batch will end in around December. Please tweak that according to your own schedule. Here you have your classes will be going on. You will be reading multiple sources, class notes, material from the institute, your standard books, everything. So here I would say that this period, your class, when your GS classes are going on, this is a golden period. Your exam is not approaching, so there is no mental pressure for your exam. Read whatever you can, but ask that question why, and then read. So it will increase your knowledge. It will increase your analytical power. You will get to know a lot of things. Okay, this can include Yojana also. You can start with answer writing also. Answer writing I'll come later, but this phase you should start answer writing. Not now. Maybe when you get comfortable, you feel like this. Yes, now the time is right to start answer writing. Then you start. Okay, but start it soon so that when the teachers are here, they can evaluate your answers. Now, November to March, I think your optional classes will be going on. Some will take optional in June, some will take in November. So there you have to manage your GS as well as your optional. So please make a good hold on GS in these few months, so that when the optional starts, then you have to focus on optional as well. Now from January onwards, a dedicated revision should start. Right now, please keep on revising daily and weekly. But after January, again a proper revision should start for the prelims examination and the main examination. And after March, focus only on prelims. Okay, 2 to 3 months. The demand of prelims is very high. There's only 3% success rate. Okay, so dedicated prelims preparation is required. That involves test series as well as revision. Now time management. Be consistent. I have talked about. Be regular. Divide your day into slots. Okay, there is nothing called as ki this topper studies 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. That doesn't help. Divide your day in the slots, because you have to study so many things in a day. You will have to study current affairs, you will have to study newspaper, you will have to come to the classes, you will have to revise those topics. So divide your day into the slots. Based on the time you get, fill in things with that. If you get just a 1 hour slot somewhere, put newspaper in that. Okay, if you get a 3 hour slot somewhere, then put a bigger thing. Maybe you can study Lakshmikant or any book in 3 hour slots. Okay, if you get a 5 hour slot somewhere, then a much bigger thing where you need more analysis. You may have to watch certain videos, YouTube videos, 1 to 2 hours, so that you can keep, and that is totally dependent on you. Strategy can be generalized. Every mind is different and they have their own strategy. Fine, study 2 subjects in a day, then only you will be able to finish off the syllabus. And it will keep you interested also, because whole day if you keep on studying just one subject, you will end up getting bored. So better in 3 hours just study one subject, next 3 hours study the other subject. Okay, so this way you will be able to finish off 2 subjects in the same time. Okay, and remain interested in the subjects. Now please do not compromise newspaper and current affairs. I was talking to Abhishek sir just before this presentation. So he asked me that some people feel that current affairs is also a subject, that you will finish off polity, economy, history, and then I'll study current affairs for 1 week. This is not the case. Current affairs is current affairs. It needs to be followed throughout. You have to integrate your static with the current affairs. So there's a module, the C-Cube module, core, current and concept. So there you have to interrelate the current affairs things with the core issues. For example, if anything is going on right now, the impeachment of CGI is going on, so that is a current issue. But if you study CGI from Lakshmikant, it becomes a static issue. What is an ordinance? The ordinance issue is a current affair issue, but what is an ordinance, what is its validity and how it needs to be passed, it is a static concept. So you need to integrate both the things. Now please don't create a backlog. Okay, some people have this tendency that let the classes get over, then we will study this. This day never comes. Okay, finish off things as soon as possible, because if you are creating a backlog, then you are eating some other subject's time. If you are not able to finish off polity right now, you might end up eating the time of history. Okay, and this will go on till your exam. So it's better to keep some days in buffer, as I mentioned before, so that even if you are not able to finish off due to some reason, because it's a 1 year long preparation, some situations might occur to you. Even if you're not able to finish that in that moment, you have 2-3 days extra to finish off that. Now, how to synchronize the self-study with the classes? Okay, this many people face a problem that you end up around 4 to 6 hours here in the coaching, and then how to self-study. So please synchronize the study. Okay, please study the same subjects. If your 2 subjects are being taught here, please study those same subjects at your home. No point studying the 3rd subject. Or if you create a backlog, then if 2 subjects are going on right now, then I have to prepare the previous subject also. Right? So 3 subjects. You won't have so much of time to prepare 3 subjects. So if you are studying the same subject, whatever is taught in the class, go back and revise the same thing, the class notes, read the same topic from the book. Okay, if you are being taught modern history, some 2-3 topics are taught in the class, just go and read those 2-3 topics from Spectrum and the Bipin Chandra also. Okay, so what will happen is your study will be very comprehensive. When you are studying a topic, you have almost read everything about that topic. Also, this way you are able to finish off books easier. Like instead of studying Bipin Chandra cover to cover, taking okay, from today onwards I will read Bipin Chandra. It will be very, very difficult to read that book. But if you study that topic wise, if 15 days are for some subject here, then if you take 15 days, study in bits and pieces, you will be able to understand and finish off that in a piecemeal manner. Also, when you note down those important things in your class notes, then again you won't have to read that book. Right? This is why I'm saying this is a smart study. Because if you have read that book, made notes from that book in your class notes, your class notes have incorporated the content of the book. Again, you won't have to read that book. Maybe in January, when you have a dedicated revision, you can go through the book again, but you don't have to read the book cover to cover again. Fine. Same day, you can practice the previous year's questions. Okay. In classes also, teachers, they help you answer the question. If you go home, take out the previous year booklet and see if you can answer those questions. So again, you have read it comprehensively. Also, you have tested yourself based on UPSC pattern. So that topic is over, and next time you just have to revise your notes. Nothing else is there. When you are reading comprehensively at home the same topic, next day you can come and ask your sir that, sir, in that book I read something, I am getting confused. I am sure the teachers will be ready to help you. So here you have to be proactive. I come back again to the pillars part. This is your proactivity. You cannot keep it pending for the last days and then come to teachers again, sir, please explain this topic, and even they have their own limitations. They have their continuous classes, but in the class itself, when you ask, you are helping yourself. Also, you are helping the 100 other people who are sitting with you. Fine. If you are writing the answers, then please get them checked the very next day. Teachers here are very supportive. They are they can guide you personally with answer writing. Ritesh sir is there, Reddy sir is there. You can send your answers to them. They'll evaluate and send them. Because after your classes get over, after 9 months, then you will have to specially come here, get a time slot from teachers and get them corrected. So better start early and get them corrected along with your preparation. So if anything need to be improved, that can be taken that time as well. No spoon feeding. You have to be proactive. Okay. Now coming to newspaper, it's a very important part. Many people are confused. Some people take 3 to 4 hours to read the newspaper. In the beginning it happens. Many people take 2 to 3 hours to read one edition of The Hindu. Some people ask the question which newspaper to read, The Hindu, The Indian Express. I would say both are fine. Okay, both are very good quality. If if you are not comfortable reading the Hindu in the beginning, start with the Indian Express. After you get comfortable, switch on to the Hindu. If you still find the Indian Express comfortable, continue with that. Okay. But one thing I'd like to tell is in Hindu on Friday, there is a column in the editorial page called the Friday debate as yes, no, and it's complicated. It's very good. Okay, you exactly know how to write answer in the mains examination. The positives are given, the negatives are given, and at the end a balanced solution is given for the issue. So if you are reading the Indian Express, please on Friday just go and check on the website what debate has come. Okay, if you are reading the Hindu, then please visit the explained page in the Indian Express. There's a page called Explained where they analyze each and everything very minutely, and you can understand the topic in the full depth from that page. So if you are reading the Hindu, then please go through the explained page of the Indian Express. Now, what is the importance of the newspapers? I have seen people saying that I won't read newspaper, I'll just use the monthly compilations that come after the month. That will help. Maybe that helps for them. But my suggestion would be that when you are studying the newspaper, it helps you maintain continuity. Because right now you have to study so many things. It's so much pressure on you. So when you read a news today, it's just one article. You'll get to know what happened. You'll understand that if you have some problem, then ask the teachers. There is some institutes are starting their daily news analysis also. Even Rao has it. Daily news analysis. Go if you are finding problems in reading the newspaper, please see those videos and see how to read a newspaper. Okay, a special class will also be held, I think, for newspaper. So maintaining continuity, I mean that okay, you have read a topic in a piecemeal manner right now. After 2 days, some update will be there, because some progress will take place. You will read that thing, and you will have a back idea also that this had happened 2 days back. Now this is happening, so you understand it better. So it's like someone telling you these things happen in a gradual manner. So you will be able to understand them in a very logical manner. Okay, first this happened, then this happened. So they will be imprinted in your mind. You won't have to make a specialized study for that. But what happens is at the end, when you'll get a compilation of the issue, it will be 2 pages and you will have to mug that page. You won't know the background. You won't know that how the things progress. You will have to just mug up things, whatever is given in the compilation. So please, you only yourself know that how much you can mug up. Okay, but if you are following it daily, I think that becomes a part of your life and you will be able to understand easily. Now coming to Yojana and Kurukshetra, they are very good books written by experts and bureaucrats. So they help you in understanding the art of answer writing, how balanced answers are written, how to write more stuff in limited words. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is your golden period. Please utilize it. Read one Yojana. Take out time. Maybe the time when you are coming in the metro, the slot, maybe a half an hour slot you get, read 2 articles of Yojana. Because in half an hour, nothing else you can do. So read 2 articles of Yojana there. Okay. And Yojana helps in essay writing also, because on one topic they have 10 articles. So you can analyze a topic in almost all perspectives. Like Northeast Yojana was there last month. If you read that Yojana for Northeast, then I don't think anything else you have to prepare. But even if you find a topic relevant, then make notes out of Yojana, so that at the end you have just a 2-3 page note of the full Yojana magazine and you know everything about Northeast. Now how to read newspaper, there will be a special class, but I'll go through. Read it daily, no backlogs, because it will start only piling up. Okay, read it daily, then only you will be able to understand things. If you take 1 week newspaper with you and on Sunday you will read all the newspaper, you won't be able to understand how things progress. Okay, no need to make notes. Here some people make notes, please do that. If you are able to understand things by making your notes from the newspaper, please do that. I don't think it's required, because again, when the monthly compilation comes, you have everything compiled. But please do read it, so that when the monthly compilation comes, you can understand it very easily. Okay. Please skip political news, though it is very important, but not important for the exam. Okay. Now identifying issues from the news. This is a very crucial aspect. Whenever a news comes, we only focus upon the news. We don't go into the issue that is there. Okay. If there is stone pelting in Kashmir, okay, this is the news. This is a happening. But what is the issue? The issue is the problems going on in Kashmir, the unemployment of youth, uneducated youth, Okay, the problems between the separatism, the terrorism, infiltration, border security. Okay, these are the issues. So you have to prepare issues. If you see 2017 exam, mains examination, though the context is totally current, but the questions are totally issue based. They have asked very people feel that it is a static question, but it is not a static question. They have identified the issues from the current events. Okay, so this, you have to develop this knack that whenever you are reading the news, even though it's a very small news, you have to understand what is the issue. If the people from South Indian states, the politicians from South Indian states are protesting against the Finance Commission, then that is a news, it is a protest. But what is the issue behind it? It is cooperative federalism is one issue, then devolution of funds by the Finance Commission is one issue. Okay, so that can be asked, that how Finance Commission, what are the recommendations of 14th Finance Commission, how 15th will be different from 14th. So that analytical bent of mind, correlating things. Okay. Now editorial is very important because it is written by a journalist, so it is neutral, it is unbiased. Okay, and it is written in a proper format. You have to identify this format when you read the editorial. So on the top, first line will be the context. Whatever happened yesterday, the context will be given. Then some background will be given. Then some positives about that thing. Suppose a scheme is launched. So some positives will be given about the scheme. Then a constructive criticism will be there. By criticism, I don't mean that they are totally rubbishing the scheme, but it is a constructive criticism. It is having an element of positivity also. So that element you need to utilize in your answers, because in the answers you cannot criticize the government, but still you have to criticize. So that is a constructive criticism that you need to make sure. Instead of writing that this scheme won't work or this scheme is bad, you have to write that this scheme may not achieve the desired results. Fine. This is the art of answer writing. This makes a balance, right? So you have to write the positives, you have to write the negatives. This makes your answer balanced. Even if only positives are asked, still you have to write 1 or 2 negatives to make your answer balanced. Okay. This shows practicality also. Okay. Anything cannot be good. There are no things in black and white. There are grey things as well. Fine. And the solution is also there. So you can read the solution. Okay. For this issue, what could be the solution? Now talking about my own optional, from newspapers I used to get the views of experts for the current events. Whatever experts are writing, I used to quote them down in my answers. So I could prepare political science from this. Now coming to the prelims exams, basic questions are asked, but yet they are analytical. They are very easy questions. They are just asking you just one basic point that should be followed. Maybe the question will be very difficult, just to bog you down. But you have to maintain your mental strength and just answer that basic question. Keep practicing previous year questions, test along with classes, so that you are able to know that your way of study is right. Even if you finish off a book and you are not able to solve questions, this is of no use. Solve from your classes. Use common sense. As I said, be practical. Okay, be balanced. Use your common sense while you are studying. Okay. Now in the prelims exam, you need to choose the best answer. And there are many questions where you will see that there are 2-3 right answers, could be right answers. Okay, so you need to choose the best answer out of them. Okay, I have last week I had made a video here regarding the prelims exam. Please go to YouTube and see that video. You will get an idea how to approach the prelims examination. I had made it specifically for the 2018 batch. So when you find time, please watch that. It's a 1-hour video. What I'll do is I have a clipping of a newspaper. Okay, we'll see when you get to know a clipping, like when you get to see a news. Okay, how a UPSC aspirant should think about that in the news. How to take that news. Right now, I don't think that you will be in a situation that you will be able to analyze whatever I'll say. But maybe when you finish off your GS preparation, you will be at that stage. If you are not at that stage, you have to be at that stage. And we'll see how we correlate things. Naga Accord is nearly final. No change in state boundary. Removal of AFSPA flagged the last hurdle. This is also news from April or even May. Now coming to Naga Accord. Naga, different tribes in Northeast. what is the problem of Naga. Like if you have read this news, then a proactive mind would say that I want to read about what is Naga Accord. Then you'll get to know when it started. It started at the time before independence. What happened in Simon Commission? They had asked Simon Commission about to give a separate identity to Naga. Okay, then if there is Naga, then who are Kukis? Who are Metis? The Manipur issue was there last year. Okay, what is the difference between Nagas and Manipur? What accord it is for? What is Nagalim? Okay, why are they demanding a separate Naga state? Now, if it is a separate state, they want, then it will involves regions of different states also, nearby states also. So what Arunachal Pradesh is saying about it, what Assam is saying about it, this is an issue. Then, if you are reading news, how many of you have heard about that National Register of Citizens? Okay, this was also news. Can you name the accord that is there? Assam Accord. Right, so when you are studying about Naga Accord, you should know about Assam Accord also. This question can be asked in prelims. Okay, you will write as a Naga Assam pass hai, then same issue hoga. That is not the case. When you are reading about Naga Accord, you should think about Assam Accord. When you are thinking about Assam Accord, you should also know about Jakarta Accord. What was Jakarta Accord? It was the first summit was held of IORA, Indian Ocean Rims Association. Okay, that was Naga Accord. So right now you might be feeling that it's a bouncer, but once you have studied everything, okay, this is how you can see you are revising so many things with just one headline. Now, not with even one headline, just few words of the headline. We have just talked about it. It's nearly final. What are the why it is final? When did it start? In 2015, it was only a framework. Now it is being final. What are the problems coming in between? In February, March, there was an issue of elections also. Like the interlocutors, Mr. R.N. Ravi, he had to tell that no, all the issues will be considered, but let the elections happen. So this is an important issue. What are the elections? How does it impact the elections? Fine. No change in the state boundary. Now, when you have read polity, so a very static question comes from Article 2 and 3. Okay, Article 2 and 3 is totally related to no change in state boundary. What happens? What is the procedure when you have to change the state boundary? Article 3 talks about that. Fine. Why you have to change the state boundary? When you think about state boundary, then you should remember that why the state boundaries were created. They were created on linguistic basis. Okay, why linguistic basis? What were the committees associated? JVK committee, SK Dhar committee. Okay, State Reorganization Commission. You go back to history, just from these 4 words. Fine. When you were talking about no change in state boundary, it should reflect Telangana was created. What were the issues? Some people are demanding for Bodo land, Gorkha land. This is also, if this accord is final, then again those demands will start rising. These issues you have to analyze. So if you're writing an answer on these things also, then you can quote that what are the negatives of the issue, that if we are finalizing the Naga issue, then such demands from Gorkha land and Bodo land will also increase. Okay. Then this includes cooperative federalism also, how center is approaching states, their needs. When you think about cooperative federalism, then finance commission issue which I talked about, that also comes. Okay. Then the special category status also comes. Why Andhra Pradesh is asking for a special category status. Now when a special category status comes, then a thinking mind should know what is the difference between a special category status and a special status state. Special status state is Jammu Kashmir and all those which are given in the constitution. Special category state is only related to Planning Commission and National Development Council. So these all things you have to correlate. So through a mind map, you can see that so many topics you are thinking about. And this will help in your essay, this will help in your answer writing. You have to make it structured. I'm just talking whatever is coming to my mind through this object, but when you are writing an answer, then these things you have to incorporate. Removal of AFSPA. AFSPA is a big issue in itself. I needless to mention. Removal of AFSPA, good and bad, why should it be removed? Recently, Meghalaya, it is removed or it is extended, I think, I'm not remembering exactly. Tripura has removed AFSPA, what it did to remove AFSPA. Now, if you think or if you ask your question, what it did to remove AFSPA, you will answer one question on left-wing extremism from your internal security in GS3. Left-wing extremism, if you have to answer, you have to write what solutions are being taken, what steps are being taken. So if you take the example of Tripura, you will know the answer. Okay, flag last hurdle. What is a state flag? Are state flags important? Which state has a state flag in India? Jammu Kashmir has it. Which state was asking for a state flag? Karnataka. Now when you talk about Karnataka, then it's state flag, it's the Kannada sentiments, regionalism, this is an issue. Okay, then Basavanna, that Lingayat issue comes in Karnataka. So see, from just one headline we are able to read about so many topics. Right? So this is how your thinking should develop in the coming years, coming months, I would say. Fine. So this was the end. I hope whatever I have said, you would understand it. So at the end, this is a quote which I used to keep on my WhatsApp. Okay. So it's not an easy journey. Okay, you have to overcome the challenges and clear this exam. It should be your own exam. You have to clear it yourself. Just trust your preparation, trust yourself, have faith in yourself that I have to clear this exam, and I hope you will clear it. So thank you so much.